It's Max, the one who always comes and sees it.
I know, it's not your night, so if you could just pass it right back. We're happy to. But I don't have to walk around, I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, David. Just a few.
It's fine. I'm just saying, because I was like, was he, I mean, he was he here? I can't remember, maybe he was.
Is reading the one with the stability. Yeah, okay. I don't know. That's too long ago. Who is? We can look at the minutes. We should not have passed it because there wasn't any more.
No, it'd been the one before, the one after that. The 26th, 24th.
You said the 24th? No, I wasn't here. Delayed that day. So, all I said was I didn't have any questions. But yes, if I would have thought about it, I would have kicked down the road.
Good evening and welcome to the Monday, April 28th, 2025 meeting of the Martinsville Board of Works and Safety. The meeting is hereby called to order. Please call the roll.
Kelly Bray.
Present.
Mayor Costa.
Present.
John Lillywhite.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. You received copies of the minutes from the Monday, April 14th meeting. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes?
No.
I was absent, so I'm going to abstain.
Okay.
I would motion that we approve the meetings from last, or the minutes from last meeting.
I will second that. All in favor say aye. Aye. And so it'll pass with one abstention. We had some unfinished business at the last meeting in regard to a sewer adjustment for Hardee's.
Yep.
Is there anyone from Hardee's here? If you would come in, there's a sign-up sheet there at the podium. And then state your name and address so we can have that for
I'm sorry,
record.
my name and what?
Your name and address.
My name is Judy Haney. My address is 611 Ash Street, Seymour.
Did you say Seymour?
Yes,
Oh, wow, that's a heck of a drive.
yes.
Oof.
So we had some questions from the sewer adjustment from last time because of the amount and the time period over which it ran.
I will answer best to my knowledge. My district manager is on vacation, so I'm going by notes.
I understand. Unless one of you two wants to start with this, I will. Typically, it's our policy to look at things that happen in quick succession, and this is the second one we've received in approximately 6 months. Am I correct on that?
Actually,
The third.
3 months.
Right.
The last adjustment was January 27th this year for $3,758.59.
Yeah, and to be fair, we do understand that this is a business, and so you probably have slightly larger pipes running in there carrying more water, but this is very much in excess of what we normally approve.
My notes say that the first issue that was fixed, it was fixed from the leak was under the building. And when that was fixed and everything was adjusted, then shortly thereafter, it blew the meter out or something to that effect. So now we've had to replace the lines from the parking lot into where it was before. So we've actually went from the parking lot all the way through so that there isn't a further issue.
Mac, do you have any idea how long this ran after they were notified? Because, I'll tell you, the first issue that we had, we were hesitant to approve this because your organization was notified at least a month or two before it was ever addressed. And as a result, a gajillion gallons of water ran. And I think we have a similar issue here where the leak persisted for quite some time.
Right. I'm trying to read this. I apologize. Their normal usage is 2,700 to 2,800 gallons a month. And oh my goodness. I believe it was November, they were 2,700, December 2,260. It started spiking again in January, 16,000, February 32,000 gallons, March 57,000. So it was running normal until, and they repaired it. You could tell it spiked, they wrapped it, the usage went down, and then it immediately went up again. So you apparently, whatever you fixed the first time, it sure didn't hold very long.
Right, and that's what she had told me, was that when they hooked something up, it pretty much just blew it right back out.
Yeah.
I showed that Gordon Plumbing from Indianapolis did the repairs. So this invoice is $319, and the other one was,
So the repair was done, you said, on March 19th?
the one was, yes.
Okay. And do we know when they were notified, Mac, or thereabout? I'm gonna assume
Whenever the
that in
usage
January.
starts spiking within a day or so,
Yeah.
we do notify either the resident or the business. And I would say when it started to go up again in December, the end of December into January is when it really started ramping up again. They would have been notified in December.
Yeah.
So it looks like the invoice, we had an invoice for 11/7 of '24, and then this other one, instead of 319.
So the way I understand it, the water bill wasn't paid then because this one that we're looking at shows the January, February, March, all of them are being adjusted. Is that correct? So Hardee's just didn't pay their water bill those months that it was an excessive amount?
I don't know if that's what that means or not.
No, I would say they did pay their water bill. It just got so astronomical so quick.
Yeah.
And it's the sewer portion that really racks up
Okay.
quickly. So when you're going through 32,000 gallons to 57,000 gallons a month, yeah, you're gonna have a sewer bill and water bill that'd be in the $10,000 range.
I don't know what your thoughts are, Mr. Mayor and Mrs. Bray, but I'm hesitant to take the whole thing on again, but I'm willing to consider a portion of it. Do you have thoughts?
I would be interested to see, you know, because you said you're covering for someone else to be here at the meeting tonight. You know, I'd like to find out, you know, when we made notification, and then how soon you called Gordon Plumbing. I mean, did Gordon Plumbing play a part in this and put you off for 2 months? You know,
That would be reasonable if that were the
and if
case.
that happened,
Yeah.
then it's really not Hardy's fault.
Yeah, that would be reasonable. What I'm concerned with is the first time I know that there were 2 or 3 months that went by, and then this time it appears that nearly the same thing happened. And if that's the case, then I'm not crazy about the idea of taking on a, whatever it was, $8,000 or $10,000 bill. Now, like you said, if it's something outside of their control and they called in January and Gordon told them, you know, we don't like working in the cold or something like that, that's a different story. And I'd be willing to have that conversation.
And Mac, I would be curious if we could check in the utility office, who did we contact? Did we contact somebody in the restaurant here, or did we call somebody at the P. Carter at falconholdings.com?
I'll find out.
Because if they notified the restaurant told the holding company, and they just didn't do anything, that's not the restaurant's fault, but yet it's the ownership's fault.
I'll find out.
I don't want you to have to drive back from Seymour. I appreciate you making that drive. I'd be willing to, have
Hopefully
an
she would be
email.
back, and like I said, she's probably has a lot more knowledge to the whole situation than what I do. I mean, I'm the general manager at Edinburgh, I don't even work in the Martinsville store, so.
Poor thing. That's a long drive every day too.
It is, but it's okay.
Okay,
Then I think we would entertain a motion possibly to table this topic until our next meeting, and maybe we can have a little more information, a little more clarity on that.
I would make that motion. Can we count on you to have a word with the representative for this area?
So you're wanting to know when we were notified from billing, how quickly Gordon's fixed it, and who the billing department contacted, that type of thing, is that correct?
Yeah, I want to know when your organization was aware of this, and we'll true that up with our notes showing when we called. But I'd like to know if there's a reason why what appears to be approximately 3 months went by, and I don't know, 60 or 70,000 gallons of water went into the ether.
I understand. So then you want someone here again for the next meeting, is that correct?
Yes, please.
Okay. And when is
And
that?
that'll be May 12th.
Okay.
And that meeting may be starting at 6 o'clock instead of 6:30.
That's on this.
Okay. Is that all you need from me then?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So
Thank
I
you.
would need a motion to table this then.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second the motion.
Been a motion made and seconded to table the discussion on this topic till our next meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, no. The motion carries. There was nothing on the agenda tonight that listed under new business, but yet we do have new business to take care of because we did put out to public bid that we were going to be opening bids tonight on paving. So, Mr. Dunn, did you receive any packets today.
We're here to open the bids that were due in today at 4 o'clock for the next round of paving. We're going to be doing approximately 5.5, 6 miles of paving this spring. We received bids from 4 companies. The first one was Milestone, and it came into my office at $115.
I'm shocked that we have 5 more miles worth of streets left to do. We'll be digging deep.
I really should have brought my glasses, I apologize. Their bid is for $803,865.75.
There you go, sir.
That's a new look.
Can you smile, Mr. Dunn?
Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
Can I make a
Yeah,
motion?
$803,865.75.
Could I make a motion that we, as a city, purchase a monocle for him?
Colonel Klink.
Next one is for Wallace. Their bid is for $625,825, pardon me, and 78 cents. 668, nope. $668, $825, 78 cents.
Do we have anybody here under the age of 35?
Okay, Grady's is $1,006,792.79. $1,006,792.79. Last one, E&B, and it is for $814,467.25. $814,467.25. We ask that you allow us to take this under advisement, and we'll come back after we've had a chance to review.
Matt, can you repeat Grady Brothers, please? 1,006,000, what?
792 and
792.
79 cents.
Grady,
Never mind, I got it.
you got $1,006,792.79. I won't forget my glasses next time. Lesson learned.
For sewer adjustments tonight, we have 2. 460 East Columbus Street, $129.49, and 859 South Lincoln Street, $228.58.
I don't have any questions on that. I
Neither
would
do
motion
I.
that we approve them as presented.
I'll second the motion.
And a motion made and seconded to approve the sewer adjustments this evening as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed no, the motion carries. Next regular meeting, let me back up. On our next meeting, May 12th, the county is going to be here asking about road closures. And I was thinking we may have some discussion with them, so we might want to start at 6 o'clock instead of 6:30. Is there a problem? Okay, so probably to make a motion that we change the meeting to 6 instead of 6:30.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
So the motion made for our Monday, May 12th meeting to start at 6 o'clock instead of 6:30. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed no, the motion carries. So next meeting will be Monday, May 12th, 6 o'clock here in the council chambers. We are adjourned.
If you want to cover the ones for chairs or something, it's seriously okay. Seriously. Not a problem. She can sit right next to you in that
Good evening and welcome to the Monday, April 28th, 2025 meeting of the Martinsville Common Council. The meeting is hereby called to order. At this time, I would like to invite Pastor John Maples from the First Baptist Church to come forward with tonight's invocation. So if you would please stand and then remain standing for our Pledge of Allegiance.
Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you today, recognizing your presence and guidance in all things. We thank you for the privilege of serving our community and for the opportunity to gather here in this council meeting. Grant this council wisdom and discernment to make decisions that are fair, just, and beneficial to all the residents of Martinsville. May we approach each issue with an open heart, listening to each other's perspectives and seeking your will. Help us to be mindful of the needs of our community, to act with integrity, to work towards a brighter future for our city. We ask for your blessings upon this meeting and for your peace to rest upon them as they strive to serve your purpose. In your holy name, amen.
Thank you, Pastor Maples. Would the deputy clerk please call the roll?
Josh Barron. Ben Mahan.
Present.
Susie Lips.
Present.
John Badger.
Present.
Ann Miller. Present. Phil Deckard Sr.
Present.
Phil Deckard II.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Prior to tonight's meeting, you each received minutes of the Monday, April 14th meeting. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes?
I make a motion that we accept the minutes as presented.
Second. And a motion made and seconded to approve the minutes as presented this evening. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. Before we get into our meeting tonight, I believe we have a representative from the Mental Health Association here, and I would like to read a special proclamation. Whereas Mental Health America established Mental Health Month in 1949, uniting millions each May to promote awareness, provide resources, and advocate for mental well-being of all. And whereas maintaining good mental health is a vital role to overall health and well-being, and mental health conditions are common, manageable, and treatable, and whereas 1 in 5 people will experience a mental health condition in any given year, and about half of Americans will meet the criteria for a diagnosable mental health condition at some point in their lives, with symptoms often beginning by age 14. And whereas mental health challenges affect people of all ages, backgrounds, and communities, and early intervention and access to care can save lives and improve outcomes. And whereas seeking help for mental health concerns is an act of strength, and increasing awareness about mental health can reduce stigma, improve understanding, and connect individuals to the resources they need. And whereas the theme for Mental Health Month 2025, Turn Awareness into Action, highlights the need to improve beyond awareness and take meaningful steps toward improving mental health in our communities. Now therefore, I, Kenneth W. Costin, Mayor of the City of Martinsville, Indiana, do hereby proclaim May 2025 as Mental Health Month in the City of Martinsville, Indiana, and call upon all residents of the City of Martinsville to, 1, take action by checking on their mental health and utilizing free anonymous screening tools at mhasscreening.org. Educate themselves and others about mental health conditions, available treatment options, and strategies for well-being. Challenge the stigma by speaking openly and compassionately about mental health. Seek support if they are or someone they know is struggling, recognizing that help is available and recovery is possible. Support organizations that provide mental health services, advocacy, and education. Advocate for policies and initiatives that expand access to mental health and resources. And I'd like to present this to the young lady. Next on the agenda, Parks Director Ashley Cox is going to give us an update on upcoming events and things that have been happening at the park.
Good evening. I believe all of you received a event flyer from the Parks Department for the 2025 season. This is every event that we have planned so far for this year. I mean, we might add a couple here or there, but this is pretty set in stone for what we're offering this year. We've already been through 3 events. We had our first ever painting party, which was a success. We had 15 people in attendance. We hired a lady to teach the class from Morgantown. We might throw another one of those in this year because everyone did have a really good time with that. We made it through both of our Easter egg hunts. We had our Easter egg hunt for ages 2 to 12 on April 10th, and then we had our Easter egg hunt for ages 13 to 17 on April 11th. That's always a glow-in-the-dark one, so we just limit that to the older kids. Our next event that we're working on is this Saturday. We're having a craft fair at the Jimmy Nash City Park. We have 26 craft vendors, so if you guys want to share our post and get some people to come and shop with them. And also the evening of May 3rd, we're hosting our first movie night at the venue. So that is, like I said, what we've done already, what we have coming up this weekend. Then you can see from the brochure, we have a ton of stuff coming up throughout the summer. I can come back in a couple months and we can talk about some of the other stuff as it approaches and gets closer. I would say for our Easter egg hunt, our ages 2 to 12, we probably saw close to 350 kids this year. In our glow-in-the-dark one, we had about 75 teenagers attend.
How many kids did you say you had for the Easter?
Around 350 for the ages 2 to 12,
Okay.
and 75 for the glow-in-the-dark Easter egg hunt for ages 13 to 17.
No, 75. How many people did you have at the paint party?
We had 15.
15?
Yes, yeah. So this year we're doing something a little different. We're trying to sell sponsorship packages. So I attached those 2 for you guys to look at. We will try to sell these for each event that we put together. Currently, of course, I attached the Easter egg hunt one since we've just been through this event. I attached the movie night one because we have 3 of those scheduled for this year throughout the year. And then the adult recess is a new event that we're offering this year. This is also a charged event. We're charging for this, but we're also trying to get sponsorships to offset the prices for this event. If you go to the last page that I sent over, this is what we've brought in so far for sponsorships this year. We brought in $250 for our Easter egg hunt. We have, we did 3 $500 ones for our movie nights, and then we have a $100 one for our movie night. So far this year, we've brought in $1,850 in sponsorships for those events. And that's all I have at this time, unless you guys have any questions.
How much does it cost to do a movie?
The movie cost us around $1,000. Our sound is close to $500, and then the movie itself it ranges from $500 to $550.
$1,000 to put on a movie night?
Yes, that's correct.
It's great information, but probably people want to know what's up and coming with the pool. When will it open?
It is scheduled to open on May 24th, which is the Saturday before Memorial Day. Everything's on track at this time to open. Of course, that always, we have to take into account it has to pass 2 pool tests before it can open. So we're gonna fill the pool next week and then we'll start feeding chemicals to it and then send them off for testing. But currently it is on track to open.
What was that date again?
May 24th. We had some issues with the splash pad last year. We do believe that is fixed. So fingers crossed that we don't have any issues with that this year too.
Have we already hired lifeguards?
Yes, they've already been trained. They finished their last training this past Saturday. So they're good to go. We have 32 lifeguards and 25 concession stand workers already hired.
So you have 32 lifeguards and then?
25 concession workers.
And Luke,
O'Neill?
O'Neill, okay, Luke O'Neill is the one who's heading up?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. And is that just a part-time position?
No, he's a full-time position. He came on board in the middle of February.
Oh, okay.
He helps with other stuff. He's focused on the pool while it's open, but then he'll work with other stuff and help us with programming and groundskeeping too throughout the year.
What is his salary per year?
He is making, it's $29 an hour. I believe it's close to $59,000.
$29 an hour?
Yeah.
Okay. And he gets insurance and all that stuff, right?
That is correct, yes.
So you work full-time all year?
Yes, that is correct. Yeah.
And you said besides the pool, he does,
He helps wherever needed. He helps keep up with the grounds. He helps maintain maintenance. He helps with events, put us on programs. He's going to be doing some, he's going to do a 3-on-3 basketball tournament for us this summer, a pickleball camp for us. So he's doing other things too to help bring in more people.
okay, what did you say about the pickleball and basketball?
He's going to do a 3-on-3 basketball tournament
Oh.
and a pickleball camp we're offering this summer.
Oh,
For adults or for students?
The basketball tournament is middle school and up, and we're doing 10 and up for the pickleball camp.
That's great, thank you so much.
yeah, the pickleball one should be.
Yeah.
But is that, people are gonna pay money to
Yeah, we're
participate?
charging $75 and it's for 6 sessions. We're going to provide the paddles for them to use until they know if they like it or not, want to purchase them on their own.
Okay, sounds good.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley. Thank you. First item on the agenda tonight is consideration on how to move forward with municipal buildings.
I'd like to make a motion to negotiate with and secure from ARC Design Incorporated a contract for professional architectural and engineering services for the renovation and expansion of the existing Martinsville City Hall facility.
Second.
This motion made and seconded to renovate on City Hall and using ARC as our architect. Any discussions?
I thought at this time we were just deciding whether or not we were gonna build a new building or renovate and add on to this building. I thought the intricacies of who we were employing and what was gonna happen within the building, we were gonna determine at a later meeting. Is that what you had proposed at the workshop, Ann?
Well, this is the, this is a proposal that I'm making right now that we, negotiate to, with and secure ARC Design for the contract for the professional architectural and engineering services for the renovation and expansion of the existing City Hall facility.
Okay, so, but you then had put in your motion that a particular architect, whereas at the workshop, we saw prints or drafts from 2 different. And I thought the motion or the conversation at the workshop last Monday was just to determine whether or not we were gonna, I thought the question was, are we gonna build a new building or are we going to try to maintain City Hall and add on? Wasn't that what you said last week?
I believe that's what we said last week, but I'm saying to renovate City Hall using ARC Design.
Mr. Coffey, should a motion stipulate a certain company that we are going to use when we normally bid most things out?
Well, good point. I think the other consideration you have here is with the ARC Design, both of their recommendations, whether it was going to be a new building or whether it was going to be a renovation of the existing building, we're in the ballpark of $9.5 million. Our financial advisor has advised us that the most that we could bond for is $6.7 million. So I don't really know how you're going to move forward with ARC if they're bringing in numbers like $9.5 million. So I think that's the first consideration to think about. I too thought that the motion tonight would be, are we going to build a new building or are we not? Are we going to renovate and demo part of City Hall and do an addition to it? So I think you're getting ahead of the game if you're going to go ahead and choose certain architects when I don't think you have the money to be able to hire those folks to bring in a job.
We were told by Ben that we do. We were told by.
There's $3 million in cash. in the building fund.
We do have.
Well,
That's, yeah.
And there is a motion on the floor.
and that's why we're having discussion.
I also understood we just going to decide whether we was going to build new or renovate and add on. Had no idea we were going to vote for it.
And I know that you were told by Ben that we had $3 million for the building fund, but I also know that Mr. Peters said that not all of that money can be used for the building. Some of it is restricted. And also, some of it needs to go probably back to the general fund, especially in light that we're going to be not getting much on the property tax increases. And if we want to keep our employees, we need to try to give them some type of pay raise that we may have to pull out of that fund.
Well, I just know that Ben told me we do have the money for the ARC design.
I guess my question would be, would we have any money left after the building?
So there is a motion on the floor. That motion is to renovate and add on to City Hall, but there's a stipulation that it is to use a certain architectural firm.
As we're having discussion, so we know that, I know the council requested the apples to apples, and that's why they presented two drawings of the new and the renovation. We want to listen to what people were wanting on this administration. The mayor said that he'd vetoed if it didn't have anything to do with City Hall, and I think that's, we want to go utilizing City Hall and adding on to it. I don't know if we have that cost or anything locked in, because number one, I know I said at the last meeting, I still stand by this, especially after the meeting, I got bombarded and was given a lot of good prints and pictures and the write-up when they built City Hall. And I still say those two fire bays and the upstairs is still part of this original City Hall. The third bay is not, and the day room. And I know they're gonna have to go back to the drawing board to look at this. So we can't lock in, I know, definitely a price, because if we're gonna save City Hall, save all City Hall. And there's a variety of things you can do. You know, I'd like to see the doors stay the front to make it look like the old fire station is still there. I know I looked at another community, they did a similar project, and they created their council chambers or community room there where the people could see inside through the windows they're going through it. What a great display it is of that. Or you can do it just as they did at the old high school, where it is boarded up inside. You can't see through the windows, and you can create that other wall. But I definitely think there's going to have to be more, and I know we'll have to get into that later, but I definitely want to see that saved. I know there was comments that, and I know it was directed towards me because I was on the council serving at the time. We never abandoned City Hall or the fire department when we went to the new fire station. We've always, that's not abandoning that. We've redesigned the kitchen. They redesigned it for the city court clerk in the office. We've opened up the detective room and the fire department's chief's room, an office there. We added more offices in there. We've done storage down there. So there's never been a question about abandoning the old fire station. It's because that's part of City Hall. We haven't abandoned it. And I just want to see, I mean, for the integrity of this place, if we're saving City Hall, I think it needs to be all the original parts that we do our best to save. That's my opinion.
And Phil, in regard to what you just shared about the fire portion of this building, that's why I thought it was important with what Ann had said last week, was to just vote, is it a new building or is it restoration of this one and add on? That was our first step, and then we determined the layers underneath it, which would include which architect. I mean, we really didn't go into which architect at the workshop. We talked about the fundamental of whether or not we wanted a new building in that property that we had talked about before.
Yes, and I think Ann is going towards, she's mentioning art because we've had many months of looking at this. Art was brought to our attention to the clerk's office. As you recall, the clerk's office is wanting out, and we won. I mean, this is long overdue. The clerk's office needs to be in City Hall. And if you remember, they brought a proposal to us of leasing the BMV, purchasing a home down here, and then there was talk of putting a building out here. And I said, I cannot see spending $1 to $3 million for a building out back just for the clerk's office. They need to be in here. And that's when we got, and that's when the mayor had talked about, you know, he would veto. He knew that we could override it, but he'd veto if we didn't include City Hall. And I think that's what we were looking at, because ARC has been presenting those designs at the council's request. It was brought by the council, and I think that's why she said ARC, because we've been working with them. And again, it started out because the clerk treasurer wanting that building, which we said that we could not spend that kind of money for and it was no offense to Ben or the staff, and we already explained that. We couldn't spend that kind of money just to put a clerk's office out here. We need to put that into either, and that's why we asked the proposal. We can't make it a clear due diligence decision if we just say, that's what we're gonna do. We have to look, but just as we talked about the courthouse revamping, commissioners only at $24 million. They come in and say, hey, to redo City Hall, you're looking at $21 million. Well, if you put a new one up for $7 million, that'd kind of be silly. And so we asked for, that's why we wanted apples to apples. You can't get down to the specifics. That's what I said, we never designed the fire station without talking to the firemen. We never designed the police station without talking to the police station, the officers. Same thing with here at City Hall. We're not down to that nitty gritty yet, but we've got to talk to everybody that's gonna be in here and find out what their needs are, where to be located at, and what we need to do.
I agree 100% with that, and I appreciate that information. I just don't agree with including any extra details with the decision as to whether or not to build a new building or whether or not to restore an add-on here. That was the step we talked about at the workshop, and that's what I thought we were coming in here tonight to vote on. I didn't do my homework on the architect part of it.
Well, there is a motion on the floor and a second.
And with that discussion, is there anyone that's been unhappy with what they've given to us or what we've asked of them? Or I'm just asking.
I have been. I have been.
I knew you were that one night. And
Well, no, I gave them a directive that after our first workshop to look at the new building. They didn't need to worry about City Hall. And someone else, I don't know if it's a councilman or who, gave them directive, no, you do both. So it kind of irritates me the company is going to go around the mayor when he's giving them a directive. Councilman Deckard, I don't think when you were mayor you would have stood for something like that. And I think if we're going to look at the architect, we need to bid it out because there's other companies that are available, and that's going to be a large chunk of the $6.7 million we have to spend. So there is a motion on the floor. It's been seconded. Is there any other discussion? Then, Stacey, if you'll take a roll call vote.
Point of order, I'd like a further explanation of the motion, exactly what we're voting for.
The motion that was made was to renovate and add on to City Hall and use ARC as the architect.
I made a motion to negotiate with and secure from ARC Design Incorporated a contract for professional architectural engineering services for renovation and expansion of existing Martinsville City Hall facilities.
Does that mean that you're willing to spend $9.5 million? That you're gonna spend all of your cash reserves?
That was top dollar what they gave us, the most. That, they gave us the high dollar. It's not gonna come in at 9.6 million. I don't know that for a fact, but I'm pretty sure it will not.
If you build what they recommended, it will.
Which I know we can't go with whatever's been presented so far by either one, because like I said, again, I still think we're looking to tear down part of the original city hall, and I don't want to see fireways tore down. I want to see them.
Let me correct that then, because that was not part of the original building. You can look at the walls of the interior building, you can look at the roof line, you can look at any number of places. Those 2 bays were not part of the original building, and the 3rd bay was added after that. Clearly, if you'd like to see that, I'm happy to show it to you.
Okay, and I know the 3rd bay was, and I know the day room was, but the articles in the newspaper, those pictures, I can't, when they talk about this, the construction, I think it was like 18,000, and add-ons was gonna be like 22,000, and they specifically said where the mayor's office was going, the clerk's office, said the fire department, the bay, and talked about the firemen's quarters, their lockers upstairs, and I think that needs to be definitely investigated. That's my opinion.
I want to see City Hall done right. Our police department has gone $1 million over budget.
I didn't know about it until recently.
Well, I don't want to see that happen again. All these add-on orders.
Let's clarify the rumor of the $1 million over budget. When we talked to Envoy for the police department, they came back and it was going to be $6.4 million. We knew we didn't want to bond for that much, so we cut it back $1 million, so we stayed under the bonding amount. So we knew going in there were extras that were going to be cost. I wouldn't say it was over budget because we cut that from the very beginning.
But they've had problems, so they've had electrical problems, they've had heating and air conditioning problems, they've had water problems.
And the council was told 5.
Okay. So there's a motion, there's a second.
Can I ask one more question?
Sure.
If they're going to come out and give us a final bill, is that what you're suggesting? Yes? No?
What? I'm sorry?
You're wanting them to give us the final total of what it's going to cost to build the building? Or
Correct.
renovate and everything?
Yeah.
What if that actually comes in over?
Well, not the final bill, no, I just want them to be the architects.
So where's the final bill coming from? I mean, what it's going to cost? I guess
I
not
think we
build.
need to determine that first. Find out what that is actually going to be.
So we're not going to have a final estimate by ARC. Is that correct?
That's correct. She was saying, she was requesting to secure them as the architectural firm that's going to do the project, is what she's saying, I think. Is that correct?
Yeah, yes.
Well, I'm understanding that.
Yeah.
So we really don't know what kind of final.
No, we don't.
No, we don't.
No.
Nobody knows and nobody understands what it's going to be when they get inside.
Both companies gave us estimates, and they're both off, as you recall, we talked about, because I think we talked about doing away with the bay, and I think the other firm, designs were a little different, so the two companies, obviously, there wasn't like apples to apples, I don't think you can say. I think there was some cost built in there for the demolition. I think at one point, they were putting a cost in of the demolition for the water department, which I think we've agreed that we're leaving the water department, correct? We're gonna address the drive-up windows and things there. So I don't know that you've got a comparison. The comparison to apples is what the council had asked ARC to bring back of a new building and the renovation of City Hall to see what the cost was of the two, to see, kind of give us direction of which way we wanted to go. And to make sure, that this is definitely what we want to do, was to remodel and add on to City Hall. If I'm correct. If I'm wrong, just let me know. Yes, Yes, because like I said, I do want to, and with Gary, I do want to investigate this, our fire base. I want to make sure, because if we tear down and we find that we're wrong, then it's too late. And we've kind of defeated our purpose of renovating and saving the original City Hall. And I want to make sure that we give a due diligence of inspection of this. And like I said, I mean, all I've got to go is the historical notes, the papers, the articles, the pictures. I've been sent copies of pictures. I've been sent original pictures. When gentleman here in town, after he heard, he sent me, I told him, I said, I don't want your original picture. I don't be responsible for that. And he just sent me a text message of it in its frame. And, you know, I've come out here and looked and stared and looked at the time frame. I mean, I just, to me, reading the articles, and I think some articles that Joanne Sessions put out as well, it says it is. And I don't know. I just want to find out to make sure we're making the correct decision here. That's why I say I don't want to rush anything. I want to make sure we're doing the right thing.
I had a past fireman bring me pictures and articles out of the paper, Indianapolis paper and things, also stating the same thing. But I still don't understand by giving ARC, where's the final dollar figure coming in at? Is that, are we going to spend money using ARC to get to that final dollar?
Yes, that's what she's saying to use. And it wouldn't matter if we pulled in DLZ. They're not going to give us a price. She's saying use this company to, you can help me, I don't know if I want to say project manager, but
All you're doing is selecting an architect underneath Ann's proposal. The whole project will be, after it's drawn, construction drawings are put out, we'll go out for public bids on it, so the numbers could come in.
yes, because bonding will have to go public bid, so there'll be the public bid process. You know, that, so even if it's, again, I'm going to throw another company, not using these two, if it's DLZ, they've got to set it out, and they're going to give the guidelines, because you got to make sure they're bonded, because we don't want a construction company to come in that's not bonded, and that we end up losing the side of the wall of City Hall, and then we're left holding the bag, and we've got problems, so we got to make sure they're bonded, insured, and it has to be a public bidding process, because we are bonding. So, as I say, so it doesn't matter who we would hire, they got to oversee that and do that.
Well, again, it sounds like the motion is on the floor to renovate and add on. The question on the motion is whether or not to incorporate the architect in now. If you did not include that, then you can go out and bid who you want as an architect. Because, I mean, Josh has construction experience, but most of us don't even come close to what he has. And we need to have some specific qualifications for an architect to look at this building and how you're going to do it. I just think you need to put it out to bid.
And I just thought this was the company we wanted, as it was presented to council. That's how we wound up with them and doing the drawings.
No, this is a company that Mr. Merida had contacted.
It's a what, I'm sorry?
It's a company that Mr. Merida had contacted from the clerk's office.
So would you have, are we gonna, we have a motion on the floor then, right?
I'm getting that in. So is there any other discussion? Okay, Stacy, if you take a roll call vote.
Are they ayes and nays, correct?
Yes. Aye, you're in favor of the motion as it is. Nay, if you're not.
Perfect. John Badger?
Nay.
John Badger votes nay. Phil Deckard Sr.?
Abstention for lack of information.
Phil Deckard Sr. is abstaining. Phil Deckard II?
I'll go with aye.
Phil Deckard II votes aye. Josh Farron?
Aye.
Josh Farron votes aye. Susie Lips?
I agree with the concept of going forward with restoration and the addition and maintaining the architectural integrity of City Hall, but I disagree with tacking on the architect selection at this meeting at this time. So my vote is nay.
Susie Lips votes nay. Ben Mahan?
Aye.
Ben Mahan votes aye. Ann Miller?
Aye.
Ann Miller votes aye. We have 4 ayes, 2 nays, and 1 abstention.
Okay, Mr. Coffey, you may have to tell me if I'm doing this incorrectly, but due to the nature of the motion, naming the architect as part of it, I am vetoing this motion. So with that being said, where do we come back the next meeting? Take it back up?
Yeah, it'll have to take 2/3 to override your veto.
Okay. Prior to tonight's meeting, you were sent copies of the claims for review. Are there any comments for the claims?
I'll make the motion to approve the claims as presented.
I'll second.
Been a motion made and seconded to approve the claims as presented. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Motion carries. Any comments from the council this evening?
Yes. Did I see Rick back there? Rick, I wanted, of all this going on and I'm so excited to see people are interested in the preservation of historical buildings and things. But I just want to make sure you knew, I know when you said there was crickets at the one meeting, no one was talking, it's because the council hadn't made a decision or come up that we were going to tear down City Hall. So that's why there was crickets, because no one had, and like I said, and that I've never been a part of abandoning. So I want you to understand that, because I'm for that preservation. The other thing I'd like to say is, with your resources and your contacts, I would really like to see you get in touch with Curtis Tomac, I believe is the name. I don't know if you know Curtis or not, but the county uncovered in their projects over here at the judicial campus, the law campus, a diamond in the rough. I say a diamond of an artifact, not in perfect condition, but when they uncovered that log home, that's one of the first homes, here in Martinsville. That's what helped create this city. I don't know if it was built before the courthouse or not, but I know those logs, unless they've been moved, they're still sitting on our property. Is that correct?
No, they were taking out the county's property.
Okay, so that's the county's property. I know it was a lot of money, because they met with the county and they didn't have the money to do that. But if you had that, I know the county was giving it. I know this administration, this council, we got a couple places in the city. What a great addition to the city if we could have that restored and put up. You talk about, when we were talking about people visiting John Wooden, coming here and visiting the historical homes and the school, that will be a great asset for the city. So I would encourage you, if you wouldn't mind taking a look at that and seeing if you have that resource that we need to look at that. Like I said, I know it's not perfect and it's going to have a lot of work and a lot of things to it, but if that's something we salvage, what a great piece of history for the city and for the county.
Didn't we also have someone come in front of us and we said we didn't have the funds for that?
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's a big project and a certain...
Curtis Tomac came before the council, he and Mike Marsh, for the history preservation. Our offer to them was we would give them a spot on the city property to store it, but we wouldn't store it forever. And they were wanting a cover built over the logs and everything, and we said, we don't have the money to do that. But again, if you could raise the money to, store the logs so they wouldn't be weathered. I'm just concerned now, they've been sitting out there for 4 years.
Oh, yeah, I worry about it. I just know you got a great passion for it, and I thought, who better than the...
Well, and Mr. Deckard, I appreciate you calling me up this evening, because I hope I've not offended anybody on the council. My passion is for historic preservation, and the log cabin situation is what I hope to avoid moving forward. When the construction crews are on site, it's too late. And I've been encouraged by the public input into this project, because I whether it's, you know, heaven forbid, it got to the point where this building was vacated, what happens to it? That's my concern. And I don't want the public to wait until that would be built to worry about what happens here. So, I mean, the time for preservation is today, if it wasn't yesterday. I think I was one of the few people that knew that cabin was there. It's clearly notated on all those Sanborn fire maps. It was in rough condition when they tore it down. And I would still like to see something done with it. I just, you know, and just like you all are dealing with, it's a balance between preservation and being fiscally responsible to the taxpayers. So.
Even using the logs to create a model of that home, a smaller, just put on display, when we put it over the historical building or wherever, you know, that would be something. But I just thought of you going through this process, and no, I appreciate it, because like I said, the only way we get things done is through communication, and that's two-way, and sometimes information just gets put out and people go in one direction, and I appreciate what you've done and being here and let us know. But I want to tell you thank you.
Well, thank you all for listening to me for the past several months.
Absolutely.
I'd like to add on to that too. Having lengthy discussions with you at times, not getting heated.
No.
The passion that you got for all this, was almost 100% for a new building. That's what I do. We build new stuff, come out of the ground faster than anybody. The renovations, I know what we're getting into, hopefully that don't bite us. So the people that called, the people that text, the people that got a little disgruntled, got a little heated at times, thanks for the phone calls, thanks for the text, and thanks for the passion.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
You've swayed a few people. Thank you.
Good to hear.
Any other comments from the council? Any comments from the public this evening?
One more thing. Thank you, Betty. This means a lot. All of us up here, we're just trying to do the right thing, and that helps. You know what I mean?
Jim, were you just squirming, or were you going to get up?
No, I was going to come up. Jim Burkhart, 90 Edgewood Street, Martinsville. You know, I've attended all the workshops. I've attended a lot of city council meetings. I just think, and I've had a lot of experience in construction also. I just think you're getting the cart before the horse here, you know? So I would suggest you think about bidding to get the architect. The other thing is, it seems like as a taxpayer, there seems to be a little bit of a turf war going on between the administration and the council. And I hope what I see is, as a taxpayer, we're the ones caught in the middle. So whatever it is, guys, please work it out.
Anyone else? If not, next regular meeting of the Common Council will be on Monday, May 12th. So,
May I speak?
Sure.
I'm kind of pseudo public official. Recognizing what the council has decided to do, I'm more than willing to carry that out. I've done 2 jobs with ARC before, so that's not the issue at this point. I will be making the contract as a professional contract with ARC, and we'll move forward with that. I'll try to get you, though, keep up to date on the schedule, because that's the big thing. We will ask ARC the first thing that they'll be asked to do, and Phil and I will go out and look at the building and see what we've got before we leave here tonight. Ask them to prepare a schedule that gives us from schematic design all the way to construction drawings, so we all know what we're looking at. So that's what we'll do.
Well, there's no need going with anything with ARC right now, because I vetoed the motion. So they're going to have to come back on the 12th.
But I can still look at the building with you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
So, like I said, next meeting's May 12th. We are adjourned.